sis, the red flags were screaming all up in your face and you chose to ignore them, okay? But you're not the only one. We all have been there. Well, most of us have been in this position before. What you take from it is you learn from it, and don't ever make that mistake again. Okay, we human, we mess up, we err, but we grow. And that's the beautiful part about making errors, is that at least you have opportunities. At least there's an opportunity for you to redeem yourself, okay, and come back stronger than ever. All right, so here's some content that you will like. We're in 2025, okay, going into 2026. Okay, so go into the new year 2026, because this year's almost out, with the bang, and to have that energy like I'm not to play with. Okay, all right, enjoy.
I think something wrong with my motherfucking eyes, because I keep trying to see the good in a motherfucker.
Don't you ever beg a bitch to do the right motherfucking thing. It's either going to be in them or it's not. But don't you ever sit there trying to go through a motherfucker's phone, calling numbers back, because you got to babysit a grown-ass motherfucker. There's too much shit going on out here in the world today to be exposed to a hoe-ass motherfucker. If you get an inkling that that motherfucker ain't doing the right thing, you need to drop that bitch on their neck and keep it moving. Y'all have a blessed day. This is my backup page, by the way. Love y'all.
One thing that I would have told my younger self is allow people to be who they are. Sometimes we create this image of a person, and the perception of them, we become disappointed. So allow people to be who they are. That way you don't have high expectations and become disappointed when they don't meet them, okay? Because sometimes what I see a lot is people show you who they are, and you just avoid the red flags. We just ignore them. It's human nature. So again, the best advice I can give is allow people to be who they are, okay? And settle there.
Hey, you goddamn ignore them red flags if you want to. You gonna be paying for it later on. I'm telling you. You gonna be paying for it later on. We all do it. We ignore them red flags because somebody fine, or we got interest in the person, or we like them, or they doing all the right shit. They might be doing all the right shit, but you can still peep a red flag. It don't matter. It don't matter what they do. You feel what I'm saying? You can still peep some shit. And if you peep some shit early on that you know finna be real bad later on, you need to go ahead and dead that shit. You feel me? If you see that they a liar, they lying about little shit already. Y'all in the beginning stages, they lying about little shit already. What the fuck you think gonna happen? Them lies ain't gonna get smaller, bitch. Yeah, they gonna get bigger. Yeah. The more serious y'all get, the bigger them lies gonna get. You feel me? You see that they are flirtatious in the beginning. Well, what the fuck you think gonna happen later on? Yeah, okay, all right. Now you catching on. You feel what I'm saying? Anything that you catch, any red flags you catch early on, no matter how much you like a fucking person, you need to nip that shit in the butt, bitch, because you will pay for it. You gonna be thin as wind. I swear to God, your hair gonna be thin too. I'm telling you, you gonna be stressed.
I'm gonna say this. Ladies, we hurt our own feelings. We make ourselves look stupid. We do all these things because we have delusional ideas about the man that we're dealing with. We ignore all their red flags consistently because we want to love them and we want them to love us. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Never let a man tell you more than once that he doesn't want you. Okay. We got that down. But stop putting in your mind that this man is something that he never showed you. Never was that. He was never that. And then if they do show you that, you got to let that happen 10 times before you say yes. Understand that. If you got you a very, very good man, a one-trick pony is a one-trick pony. But if he's a consistent stallion, okay, a Clydesdale, okay, then you take him serious. So remember, you are single, not stupid. Have a good day.
So when women say that there are not a lot of good black men out here, do you realize that before or after you sleep with him? Because what I'm hearing is a lot of women who have been played by a man, but it's too late. You gave your body up because we are not proactive. We are not requiring much to give our bodies up. So this man who never showed you that he was good in any way, you lay down with him, and now he's not a good man. Now he's not worthy. Now he's not worth your time. But imagine if you had thought about that beforehand. Imagine had you had thought about that before you went to his house, that you are not worthy to be in his home, and he's not worthy of even being in your space. So instead of us taking accountability that I should have never laid down with that man, that I should have never gave him the time of day, I'm going to then spit it out like ain't no good men out here. But if you keep attracting the same type of men, I think you should start asking yourself, is it me? Is it me? Because people only give you what you give, right? So if you're giving me, I don't got to give much, you're going to believe whatever I have to say, you're going to do whatever, I can do whatever, and you're going to lay down with me anyway, why would I do anything more? Because are there men out here dogging women out? Absolutely. Absolutely. That's very much happening. But why would you be the next woman that he's dogged out when he's showing you very clearly who he is, but you don't recognize it until after you lay down with him? Now you kind of feel in some kind of way because like it should have never even happened in the first place, right? Ladies, just be conscious, be accountable, value your body, value your time, have some standards. That's most important.
I begged her to see all of the red flags, but she didn't see them. My best friend of 17 years, I'm talking about matching diaries, I'm talking about sleepovers, crying over boys, mindless behavior, all of that. So that said best friend met this guy at the club one night when we was at some club in Houston, and when she met him, I immediately was like, he gave me the ick, so I was definitely telling her, like, this is a big-ass red flag. And out of 17 years, my best friend would have never not listened to me. Like, if I said the sky was blue, she was going to believe me. And for some reason, with this guy, she did not believe me. She was just like, no, I'm going to get his number anyway. It was something about him that kind of stuck with her. So they go on to talk for about 4 to 5 months, and at this point, she calls me, and she's like, best friend, I'm pregnant. I'm like, bitch, what? I'm like, best friend, it's super early for you to be getting pregnant by somebody you just met. He in the background like, I told you she wasn't going to be happy for you. And I'm like, what the fuck is he talking about? So the phone immediately hangs up, and then she sends me a text and is like, hey, I'm going to call you back when Brian leaves. So me being the friend I am, I pack up my clothes and stuff like that. I'm like, no, I'm coming to spend the night. Like, obviously you need someone around you to talk some sense into you. So I'm going to come spend the night with you for the night. So I shoot her a text message. I'm like, hey girl, I'm on the way. Like, she's like, okay, bet. So when I get there, I immediately head upstairs and I grab my key. As I'm turning the key to get into the house, he's unlocking the door to go out the house. So I speak, of course. I'm like, hey, Brian. He says nothing. He walks out the door and slam it. Instead of making a big deal out of him acting like a child, I just went ahead and walked to the back to meet my best friend. Before I can get to the room, she's like, Bess, I got a confession. And I'm like, what? She's like, I'm 4 months. And I'm like, 4 months? And she's like, yeah. So she's a smaller person. So it's hard to tell whether a smaller person is pregnant. So I'm like, 4 months? Bitch, you're 4 months pregnant? Are you sure? And she's like, yeah. But while she's saying this to me, I'm noticing that certain things are missing out of her house, like her TV and her dresser. And I'm like, girl, what the hell is your TV and your dresser? She was like, oh, Brian needed to put gas in the car and he needed to do this and that. So we had to sell the TV and the dresser. And I'm like, how are you going to sell your TV and dresser? He doesn't even live here. So she immediately says, Bess, not right now. And I just let it go because one thing I'm not going to do is I'm not going to go back and forth with you. So we end up having a conversation, and she basically didn't want to hear some of the things I was saying. So I was just like, you know what? I'll leave you with this, and I'll come back tomorrow when you're in better spirits. So tomorrow had came, and I called her. She didn't answer. I texted her, and she didn't reply. So me being the best friend that I am, I got up and went to her house. When I got there, the locks were changed, and I wasn't able to get in the house. So I started beating on the goddamn door. Nobody came to the door. I beat again. Nobody's at the door. So I shoot her a text. I'm like, hey, I was just coming to see you, check on you. I love you. I'll talk to you later. So obviously there's no response. And I'm just like, what the hell is going on? So 5 months go by and I have not heard from my best friend. I'm talking about not a peep, not a call, not a text. Her phone number has changed. She no longer lives at the address. So I'm like, bro, like, did I just lose my best friend? So around this time, I'm at home. I'm sitting out on my couch watching Real Housewives of Atlanta. And I get a phone call. And I'm like, who the hell is this? Because the number isn't saved. I don't answer because I don't answer for unknown numbers. But then the number calls again. So I'm like, you know what? Let me just answer and see who the hell is this calling my phone. So it ended up being my best friend. And she's like, hey, this is Keisha. She's crying while she's saying all this. She's like, hey, this is Keisha. Like, I'm at the hospital. I left Brian about 2 months ago. Like, I just had my baby. Do you mind coming up here? I just need someone to support me. No matter what we had been through, I immediately knew that I had to be there for my best friend. So I packed me an overnight bag because I'm staying at the hospital with you. And I rushed to the hospital that she was at. When I got there, I sat beside her bed and I immediately held my new niece. So an hour goes by and the nurse comes in and she grabs the baby, and now me and my best friend alone. She then goes to tell me how Brian had been cheating on her, how she found messages, how she also found out that his mother didn't like her, and just a bunch of other things that I'm going to get into later. She speaks on how he sold everything in her house just so he can get around, how he would call her out her name when they got into it, and how he would deprive her of friendships like ours. So we get lost in the conversation, and maybe about 2 hours pass by, and I'm just like, I feel sorry for you. I'm sorry that I left. I'm sorry that I didn't try harder to reach out. And then the alarms go off in the hospital. So we get to hearing certain codes, and I'm curious at this point. Like, what do these codes mean? I look up the codes, and the codes mean that a baby is missing. I immediately jump up, and I run to the baby room. As I'm running to the baby room, everybody's running the opposite way. When I get to the baby room, my niece isn't there. So I start to look around. I'm like, hey, where's the nurse who just came in here and took my niece? This nurse looks me dead in my face and says, no nurse should have came in there and got the baby. So I start describing to her what the nurse looked like, because at this point, find my niece. It was at this point where I know I had to deliver the bad news. Not only was my best friend now a single mom, find out her boyfriend has cheated on her, and now her baby has been abducted. What the hell?
Cash Doll and Zadarius, is that the name of her new man? Zadarius. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm just giving my 2 cents because, like I said, my supporters, my followers get in the comment sections and they want my opinion on the celebrity lifestyle. I feel that most, if not all, celebrities are narcissists. They're highly toxic. They sleep around with each other. But for context, Cash Doll, she broke up with her baby father. I suspect he's a narcissist too. He's moving like a narcissist. Narcissistic men like to impregnate and trap women to control them. And that's what Tracy T basically did. He gave her 2 beautiful children, but he's very immature, like all narcissistic men are basically man children. A narcissistic man is a child trapped in an adult body, okay? Where I see red flags in Cash Doll's new relationship with Zadarius, I think he's controlling. Why? He doesn't want her wearing makeup. Red flag. I mean, when you met Cash Doll, you knew what it was. Cash Doll is glamorous. Hair, weave. She has beautiful, her real hair is beautiful. But, she's a glam doll. Okay? That's what she is. That's how you met her. And see, a red flag of a controlling narcissistic man is once he gets you locked down into that relationship and you fall head over heels in love with him, little by little, he starts changing things about you. He starts to isolate you from your friends and family because he wants you to himself so that he can turn up the abuse behind closed doors. Little by little, he will change how you dress, what you wear, how you do things. It got me thinking to my last relationship. I was with a very violent sociopathic man, and he knew before he got with me, I was this city girl, from New York City. I like to get glammed up when I go out. I dress real fly. I got fly clothes and everything. Once I got in that relationship with him, he stopped all of that. He told me, stop wearing makeup, stop dressing pretty, stop going out with your girlfriends. This is what I see happening with Cash Doll. This dude is trying to be real slick about it. The red flag is there when a man starts to change your appearance. Once you're in that relationship, locked in, and he knows you're head over heels in love, little by little, he starts to tweak and change the things that you do for yourself, the things that you love about yourself. Baby, whether you wear weave, lashes, makeup, long nails, fingernails, high stilettos, whatever it is about you that you love about yourself, if a man starts to change those things to appease him, he wants what he wants for you. He doesn't care about what makes you happy. He'll have you jumping through loopholes to make him happy. Yeah, Cash Doll is she said that he don't want her wearing makeup, right? Red flag, Zadarius is very controlling. Yep. Another thing that caught my attention about Zadarius, when he was on stage while she was performing, he's standing there, with his chest poked out, looking at the crowd with his arms crossed. It's giving he wants her spotlight. Papoose is doing it right now with Clarissa Shields. Notice how Clarissa, every time she's doing those events where she's being promoted, the fight that she's about to fight is about to be promoted, and she's meeting with the other female boxer. And why is Papoose always in her fucking spotlight? You know, when you have a man, he's supposed to be backstage playing the back. He's not supposed to be in your spotlight. Okay? That's what Zadarius is doing with Cash Doll. He is all in her spotlight. I don't like that. At the BET Awards, when him and her were wearing, you know, matching outfits with the leather, this is another PR relationship. He plays for the NFL, right? Y'all know how I feel about rappers and athletes, NBA, NFL. Most, if not all of them, is DL, serial cheaters, all narcissists. I wish, oh God, I'm so tired of it. Cash Doll has 2 small children under the age of 5 years old. Small babies. She has no business rebounding into another relationship when she hasn't even healed from the damage from what her baby daddy caused her. Hopping from one narcissist to the next narcissist. Zadarius is a narcissist. She needs to take a time out, focus on her grind, getting her bag and her babies, and stay in therapy. Unless she too is a narcissist with codependency issues and she just can't be alone. Women with children, us single mothers, we are targets for narcissistic men. I keep telling y'all ladies, a narcissist will look at a single mother and say she's easy to manipulate. She's desperate for a man because she has babies. I don't like this guy with Cash Doll. Y'all can call me a hater. All my predictions come true when I call it ahead of time with these celebrities. Cash Doll needs to spend time by herself working on her codependency issues and just, you know, keep getting that money back and focusing on motherhood. Because Tracy, he did a number on her. And she turned around and tried to get with a new man to hurt her baby daddy. I believe that's another reason, like, you know, Tiana is doing with her baby father. She jumped in a new relationship with Aaron, trying to hurt Iman. Cash is doing the same thing. She's getting her lick back on her baby daddy. But she has not even begun the healing process. This is toxic. I'm calling it now. I don't think Zadarius and Cash are going to last. I think he's a narcissist like all the other athletes. I said what I said.
Hear me clearly. Grown men don't want to deal with the perils of your past. Grown men don't want to deal with your foolishness, and grown men won't allow you to bleed on them if they did not cut you. They will help you heal. They will help you finish your healing process. Let me put it that way. But they not going to let you bleed on them. I told you they don't need to live at your house. I told you they don't need to drive your car. I told you that these men already have their life set financially. At this point, they want you because they want you to bring to their life the things that the money and the stuff that they already have can't give them. So they don't need you like that. That's why a lot of us women, I won't even say women, a lot of us females and girls will go out and get these guys that need us because they can't leave. So you go get you somebody who needs to live with you because you're scared that he might leave you otherwise, because everybody else then got on their feet and left. Let's don't call it a spade. Let's don't call a spade, please. Let's don't call a spade a spade. Do you understand? Do you understand that a lot of times you keep wondering why she keep getting guys that got to live with her? Because she don't want them to leave her. It's a defense mechanism. You want to control him. And you feel like if you can control the situation, what happens? You don't get hurt. But what you don't understand is you still get hurt. Because let me tell you something. While it's an awesome thing if that's what you feel for somebody to need you, it's another whole thing for somebody to want you.
Now, I don't know who needs to hear this, but I feel called to say it. I'm going to need for you to forgive yourself for choosing to ignore the red flags you definitely peeped in the beginning. Forgive yourself for ignoring the very red flags that came around to bite you in the end. Stop beating yourself up for seeing signs in a person that pointed to you needing to leave, choosing not to leave, and then being shown why you should have left to begin with. Because your behavior in that experience was clearly a life lesson that you needed. And if it's one thing that I'm learning about these here life lessons, it's that they're not always fun to experience and have to learn from. There are some life lessons out there that we learn from by simply being told about them. But some life lessons we have to see, feel, and touch just how hot that stove eye is for us to know why we shouldn't touch it. So instead of taking the discomfort of that L and turning it into a shame loop, Take the discomfort of that L and turn it into a lesson. Sit back and assess what you learned from that behavior. Because when you know better, you do better.